Today on MTG Unpacked, we're taking a look at the new standard format challenger deck for 2022, Rakdos Vampires. So Rakdos is the black-red color combo, my favorite in fact. This deck can be a bit batty. Call upon a bunch of vampires and blood tokens and sacrifice your permanents for extra damage. So you get a 60 card deck, 15 card sideboard and deck box. So let's get into it. So we'll see what the fun saying is here. Pay the blood tithe. Okay then. So this was released on April 1st, 2022. Goes for about $29.99 US. And let's take a look. So we've got our sideboard. We'll take a look at that later. Here's a divider with a vampire and a deck proper. Let's get into it. So this is supposedly, I've read a little bit about this deck. It's not really a meta deck, which is interesting because these decks are supposed to be somewhat competitive based on the standard meta. So not sure what they were thinking with this one, but anyhow, seems like a fun theme. So we'll see what we have here. Starting off with Voldaren Bloodcaster, creature vampire wizard, 2/1 for 2 with flying. Whenever Voldaren Bloodcaster or another non-token creature you control dies, create a blood token. So that's an artifact with pay 1, tap, discard a card, sacrifice this artifact, you get to draw a card. And whenever you create a blood token, if you control 5 or more blood tokens, transform Voldaren Bloodcaster. So you can see, flip it around. There's a 3/3. What is it? We have Bloodbat Summoner, creature vampire wizard with flying. At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target blood token you control becomes a 2/2 black bat creature with flying and haste in addition to its other types. That is fun. Ooh, and a mythic. We have Henrika Domnathi, legendary creature vampire, 1/3 for 4 with flying. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Each player sacrifices a creature, you draw a card and you lose 1 life, or transform Henrika Domnathi. So that goes into a 3/4, which is Henrika Infernal Seer, legendary creature vampire with flying, death touch and lifelink. That's craziness. 1 and 2 black. Each creature you control with flying, death touch and or lifelink gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Okay, so we've got another Bloodcaster here. So that is 3, 4, a complete play set of those. Blightstep Pathway, tap for black. This is a tasty include. On the other side, we have Seer Step Pathway, tap for red, so you can cast either side. So we've got 2 of those. Voldaren Epicure, creature vampire, 1/1 for a single red. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Create a blood token. So we learned about those earlier. Blood Tithe Harvester, creature vampire, 3/2 for 2. When it enters the battlefield, create a blood token. And if you tap, sack it, target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is twice the number of blood tokens you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay, so we have, let's see, 3 of those. Another Voldaren Epicure. Okay, so play set of those. I wonder why they mix it up like that. Next up we have Blood Tithe Harvester, so the showcase variant. Creature vampire, 3/2 for 2. When it enters the battlefield, create a blood token. And if you tap, sack it, target creature gets -X until end of turn. Wait a minute. Okay, we saw that earlier. So they gave us 3 regulars and 1 showcase. Okay, that sounded very familiar to me. On to the next one. We have Mukotai Soul Ripper, artifact vehicle, 4/3 for 2. Whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice another artifact or creature. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Mukotai Soul Ripper and it gains menace until end of turn. You can crew it for 2. So the concept with vehicles, you tap any number of creatures you control with total power 2 or more in this case. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. So that's a bit of a strange one, having a vehicle in here. Sokanzan Smelter creature Goblin Artificer 2/2 for 2 at the beginning of combat on your turn. You may pay 1 and sacrifice an artifact. So we're creating tons of blood tokens here. If you do, create a 3/1 red construct artifact creature token with haste. Okay, so we've gone from vampires. Now we have artifacts. Okay, so vampires creating artifacts which we can then use for other purposes to sacrifice usually. So 2 of those. Vampire Socialite creature, Vampire Noble 2/2 for 2 with Menace. This creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, and when it enters battlefield, if an opponent lost life this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on each other vampire you control. As long as an opponent lost life this turn, each other vampire you control enters battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Okay, so pumping up your vampires. Oni Cult Anvil artifact for 2. Okay, so more of the artifact theme here. Whenever 1 or more artifacts you control leave the battlefield during your turn, create a 1/1 colorless construct artifact creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Okay, so yeah, artifacts leaving, you basically replace them right away. Interesting, but only once each turn. Tap, sack an artifact, Oni Cult Anvil deals 1 damage to each opponent, you gain 1 life. So you can get a whole heap of artifacts and sacrifice them, ping the opponent each time. Okay, so 2 of those. Florian Voldaran Scion Legendary Creature Vampire Noble 3/3 for 3 with First Strike. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the total amount of life your opponent's lost this turn. Exile 1 of those cards and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may play the exiled card this turn. So we've got 2 of those. Dominating Vampire, Creature Vampire, 3/3 for 3. So when it enters battlefield, gain control of target creature with mana value less than or equal to the number of vampires you control until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. Okay, that's pretty cool. Stealing creatures. So 2 of those. Oh, Emmersturm Predator. I forgot about you, sir. Creature Vampire Dragon. 3/3 for 4 with flying. Whenever it becomes tapped, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter on Emmersturm Predator. Sacrifice another creature. Emmersturm Predator gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. So this is 1 target card from a graveyard. So you could do that on your opponent's graveyard as well. So we have 4 of those. And some removal here. Infernal Grasp instant for 2. Destroy target creature. You lose 2 life. So a couple of those. Voltage Surge instant for a single red. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may sacrifice an artifact. It deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If the spell's additional cost was paid, Voltage Surge deals 4 damage instead. Okay, so we're going to have tons of blood or construct tokens. So we get, looks like a play set of those. Village Rites, instant for a single black. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature. Draw 2 cards. Okay, so that is the main part of the deck. We'll take a look at the lands up next. We have Voldaran Estate. It's a land. Tap for colorless mana. Tap, pay 1 life. You get to add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a vampire spell. And for 5, tap, create a blood token. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each vampire you control. Okay, that's pretty cool. Cranking out the blood tokens. So we're probably going to get, only 3 of those. We have Den of the Bugbear. Land, if you control 2 or more other lands, Den of the Bugbear enters the battlefield. Tap, tap it for red. And for 3 and red until end of turn, Den of the Bugbear, Den of the Bugbear becomes a 3/2 red goblin creature. With whenever this creature attacks, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. It's still a land. I like that. I love the goblins, so that is an awesome card. 2 of those. Bloodfell Caves, a dual land here, enters battlefield tapped. When it enters battlefield, you gain 1 life. Tap it for black or red. Okay, so we're getting a play set of those. And then Swamps. 7 of those. And Mountains. 6 of those. So I like how they've done the full art lands. That's a nice include. Okay, onto the sideboard. So if you're playing best of 3, this is what you'll need between games to adjust your deck to counter the opponent's deck. So let's see what we have in here. We have Duress, sorcery for a single black. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. And another vampire here. Falconwrath Forebear, 3/1 for 3 with flying. It can't block. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a blood token. And if you pay black, sacrifice 2 blood tokens, you get to return Falconwrath Forebear from your graveyard to the battlefield. So we're getting 3 of those. Another Duress. So 3 of those, I think. We've got a Braid. Instant for 2. Choose one that deals 3 damage to target creature. Destroy target artifact. Okay, so in case you're up against maybe like a mirror match, that would be helpful. Callous Blood Mage. Creature Vampire Warlock. 2/1 for 3. When it enters the battlefield, choose one. Create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with. When this creature dies, you gain 1 life. You draw a card and you lose 1 life, or exile target player's graveyard. So if they're doing stuff for their graveyard, you can just toss it away. Anye, Maid of Dishonor, legendary creature vampire, 4/5 for 4. Whenever Anye, Maid of Dishonor, and or one or more other vampires enter the battlefield under your control, create a blood token. This ability triggers only once each turn. And if you pay 2, sack another creature or blood token. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So 2 of those. Infernal Grasp. Okay, so another one of those. And looks like an ad. And we have a blood token here. And Construct. Okay, so I was expecting that. So a 3/1 Construct with haste. So yeah, Construct on the other side. Blood Construct. Oh, wait, a Goblin. A 1/1 Goblin. I forgot about those. And a Pest. Okay, so that's the one from the sideboard. You needed that. And then some blank cards here. If you are, for some reason, playing without sleeves. Okay, so what would I do to upgrade? Probably throw in a Sorin. He's pretty good. A Planeswalker. Not sure if the Meat Hook Massacre really fits in here because it doesn't seem like you're bringing too much back from the graveyard. But yeah, a bit of an odd deck. It's got these synergies with artifacts, so not something you would often see with a Rakdos color combo. Let me know in the comments section what you think. So that wraps up our look at the 2022 Challenger decks. Are you planning to pick one up? Or maybe you've got your eyes on those Pioneer Challenger decks. Those are pretty cool as well, non-rotating. So I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy out there. Thanks for watching and have a great day.